So I opened a gym and I did it with fucking DoorDash and Instacart. So here I am, I'm in Middleburg, Florida. I opened my gym in 2020. It's been 5 years and some change. Bodybuilding is my absolute passion, and I'm excited to show you guys my secrets, I guess. The past 5 years, I've learned a lot. So I was maxed out on all my credit cards. You know, I was working with Northwestern Mutual. I wasn't making any money, and then COVID hit. So, I mean, what do I have to lose? So COVID had hit, I got on DoorDash and Instacart. I was making deliveries. I was doing about $300 a day. And you know, if you do $300 a day times 30 days, you'll make about $9 grand a month. So I knew with that in mind that I could just cash flow the entire thing. So what I did was I found a place that I could rent. The first place that I called, it fell through, deal didn't go through. The second place that I found was the place that I'm in now. And all I did was I called the landlord and I said, hey, I want to rent the space. Now, mind you, we were in the middle of COVID. So everybody was running for the hills. For me, I had DoorDash. Nobody was going out to eat. And we really didn't know how long this was gonna last for. So I knew for the next couple months that I was gonna really make some money because no one was going out and I was delivering. So the fear, it didn't exist. So I went after it. So I called her and she said, you know, yeah, we can meet up. And so I met up with her and I paid her 4 months of rent plus a security deposit and I went in. Yeah, during that time I was not scared because I was already at zero. I got the money that I needed, paid it down, continued to DoorDash and Instacart, and then I picked up a serving job. So I was bringing in all, you know, as much as I needed to pay the bills every month. I got hand-me-downs for equipment. I started with yoga and Zumba classes. So I didn't even really need to get anybody in for the gym. I just needed to get an instructor who I could sell a class to. And so what we did is we went on Facebook. And we marketed, we put a couple bucks into some ads and then people started showing up and we started selling yoga classes. So we didn't even have any equipment in here and I was just selling classes with an instructor. I started evolving into the next step, started to get more into the personal training role. I needed to put my time and energy into the gym to grow it. Every sale was crucial. But in those times, you know, you have a business that doesn't have any clientele. So how are you gonna pay the bills if you're just in the business and not working? You're gonna get swept clean. So I had to work 18 hours a day. I was literally sweeping and mopping floors at 2 o'clock in the morning to make, you know, a couple extra bucks and I would just start stacking it. So I would start with sweeping and mopping. I would Instacart DoorDash, I would serve tables and then I would go Instacart. And I would just do that all day and all that money I would put straight into the business, straight into, you know, investing everything that I could into equipment. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to continue to keep going. And that's all I did. I just kept fucking going. I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I just kept going and going and going. And then now finally, you know, we have, you know, after 5 years or so, we have a business. But now my goal is to really transform it and to create multiple streams of income out of it. So peptide therapy is what I'm working on now. Because I've built this gym, I'm gonna totally transform this gym. I'm gonna put saunas in, better equipment. Abby's gonna help me with decorations and it's gonna be like a little jungle in here. I'm building this because bodybuilding is my passion and I wanna take away every excuse possible so that I can't say I didn't get in the best shape of my life because I wanna dominate when I get to where I gotta go. I wanna dominate. I don't wanna sit back and just kinda do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna really do it. And so me getting in this gym was proving to myself that I was really gonna do this shit, that I was really gonna be about becoming the best version of myself. And so, you know, now that I've gotten to the point to where I've gotten, you start cash flowing. I can transform this space into exactly what I want it to be. When I was bodybuilding back in college, one of the things you run into is you run into environments where you can't truly be yourself. And that's the worst thing ever because all you want to do is train. So I created this space because I'm going to train exactly how I want to train. And no one can tell me, you know, it's too loud. But taking away every excuse possible from myself because that's the most important thing. You got to have an environment. You can't outwork in a bad environment. So if you're trying to DIY something and you want to build your own gym, go to govdeals.com. So this piece right here, if you look online, it's a Body Masters. It's at least 9 to 10, 11K, you know, used. I got this for like 2,300 and it was in South Carolina. So what I did was I rented a U-Haul truck, which was like maybe $700. And then gas and everything was probably 300 bucks maybe. So we had a truck, we moved it ourselves for 1,100 bucks. We got this for 2,300. That's one of the ways on how I was able to get the equipment was through gov deals. Actually, most of it, but I'm gonna totally transform this space. A lot of this stuff is old, but when you're grinding, you can't afford the best stuff, but it doesn't matter as long as you have equipment. That's really what matters, showing up, doing the work. So shit don't gotta be the most perfect, but getting the pieces that you need is important. So one of the things that I wanna add in here is a hack squat. I also wanna get a seated leg curl. I don't have a seated leg curl, but I wanna add a seated leg curl. Some of the treadmills are a little old and rusty, so we'll upgrade that. The decor, so the way that the walls are just kind of plain. We want to change all it up. I want to make it turn into a little jungle. When I first got the gym, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I was just surprised that I even had a space. So I was kind of in shock. So I wasn't even really thinking gym equipment in the beginning. I was just thinking yoga and Zumba. I was like, fuck it, I'll just run a Zumba and yoga gym. People just started donating equipment and I was like, oh shit. And so then I started training people a little bit, and then training them on the equipment, charging them for personal training, because you got to do personal training if you open up a gym. People need accountability, and that's what I started to realize, and that's what I started moving towards. So we had the yoga and the Zumba classes, but then they stopped performing as well, so we discontinued them. But we did that for 4 years. Maybe because the environment started to mold more into more of a gym, with equipment, not so much group classes, but more about just building an environment where you can give an individual a really good workout. So a lot of this stuff is, used, but it doesn't mean you can't work. My goal is just to transform it, to add life to it and make the investment and turn it into gold. An environment to me is something that's gonna really make you come to life and something that you'll really remember. I've got 2,500 square foot here. I'm gonna make the investment and do what I gotta do. You wanna create multiple streams of income if you wanna open up a gym. So now where I'm at in the game, I'm gonna run peptide therapy out of my gym. So I have multiple streams of income that can lead me to what I'm trying to get across to people, which is I'm trying to sell bigger packages. I'm trying to get people to hold them accountable for a long period of time, and those plans are gonna create value. So you have regular gym memberships, so people can just come and go whenever they want. That's one stream. The second stream is personal training. You've gotta have that stream. That's where you're gonna make your money. Those are the big package sellers that you're gonna create, and they're not gonna be month to month. They're gonna be 3-6 year-long programs. And then you have, whether it be supplementation, whey protein powders, amino acids, or is it gonna be, peptides? Is it gonna be, are you bringing in an MD or a nurse practitioner to your practice to also do optimization with hormones? Because that's another option. And then you have consulting streams. So people who are looking to get in better shape. If you're gonna open up a gym, you've gotta be passionate about opening a gym. It's not just gonna succeed. I'm truly passionate about helping people, getting healthy and feeling good about themselves, because it all begins with diet and nutrition. And I am obsessed with diet and nutrition. So you put diet, nutrition, plus training, plus recovery, discipline, all these things, your life starts to 100x. You start to feel 100% better. That's why I built my gym, because I'm taking away every fucking excuse, not to become the best version of myself. And it took me 5 years to get to this point. It was fucking hard. I had a lot of mistakes, but now I'm ready. I'm ready to go and I'm ready to build. Basically now, I want to transform this place into somewhere where you can have really good one-on-one training, but also a good experience if you just want to come in and train. So right here, we're going to move all this. There's going to be a sauna here. So I love the sauna. I do the sauna 3-4 times a week. I love to do it after I train, but I feel like a good sauna is such a good asset to have. And then really just the decor. So I want to put picture, my favorite bodybuilders across this wall here. And who knows, maybe I might even put them all across as just a gallery. But I just want to turn this into my little bodybuilding heaven and really stamp it. So now it's just about, taking everything and then just upgrading it one step at a time. It's not a rush, and you just got to believe in yourself that it can happen. 5 years, I'm still continuing to believe that it's going to happen for me. And that's the power of faith. If you got the faith the size of a mustard seed, then God tells us that's all we need. But yeah, we're about to document me bodybuilding, 100% all out bodybuilding. Not bodybuilding for an unhealthy way, but real hardcore bodybuilding, living the life of a bodybuilder.